Yeah, so this morning I'll be covering the Eduseeds IGCSE. I'll be talking about, hang on. Okay, I'll be talking about what IGCSE is, and then I'll go over the Eduseeds IGCSE program, and also touch a bit on what are the pathways after IGCSE. Yeah. Okay, let's get going. Okay, so to give you some background, when we talk about IGCSE, we need to understand a bit of background about the school system or the school exams in the UK, because it is based on the UK. Okay, so in the UK, in year 11 or age 16, year 11 means 11 years after they started grade 1 or year 1. Okay, they generally call it year 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so that's why after 11 years it's called year 11. Yeah, I mean, you can substitute the word grade if you like. So year 11 at age 16, at the end of that school year, the students will be taking GCSE, or General Certificate of Secondary Education in the UK, right? So year 11 is roughly equivalent of our Form 5, where our students in school would take SPM. Okay, so that gives you an idea. Now in the UK, the system is quite different from, say, in Malaysia. Okay, whereby they have multiple exam boards. Okay, and the schools are somewhat free to choose which exam boards they take the exams with, meaning the GCSE, the General Certificate of Secondary Education. Unlike here where everybody takes SPM, over there they can choose which exam board. And there are 5 major exam boards, which are listed there: CCEA, WJEC, AQA, Edexcel, OCR. Okay. Of course, we don't need to know too much details about them, but I'll just touch on the last 2, which is Edexcel and OCR. Edexcel, some of you may have heard, also runs their exams internationally. And then the other one that we are mostly concerned with would be the OCR. Now in the UK, it's known as OCR, okay, because it is Oxford, Cambridge and RSA examinations. But there is an international counterpart to this, which is known as the Cambridge Assessment International Education, or CAIE, which is the one that we have been talking mostly about for the IGCSE. Okay, so we have touched a bit on that the IGCSE and GCSE are at the same or equivalent level of secondary education, in the UK, and internationally, compared with say Malaysia, it will be equivalent to SPM. This is equivalent level, it doesn't mean the same content, doesn't mean the same topics and things like that, okay, because each syllabus has its own. Even back in the UK, with the different examination boards, they don't test on the same topics. There are some differences here and there, okay, but the important thing to understand is the equivalent level in terms of the competency. Okay, so SPM is regarded as equivalent to GCSE, IGCSE. The I there stands for international. That means it's the international version of the GCSE. Okay, and you will also have heard of GCE O Level, because this is traditionally the one that has been around for a long time, and is still being used in places like Singapore and Brunei. GCE O Level. Okay, so all these are equivalent level. Now, if you are inclined to compare, it's under the EQF or the European Qualification Framework, okay, all these are at level 3. Okay, or if you are using the UK regulated qualifications framework, is level 2. Okay, now this doesn't mean that EQF or RQF is one is higher than the other. It's just different names, different labels that they have. Okay, so the EQF level 3 and RQF level 2 actually is the same level. Yeah, it's just each one divides them differently. Okay. So alright, so the IGCSE is the International General Certificate of Secondary Education, and GCE O Level is General Certificate of Education Ordinary Level. Okay, which many people are still familiar with because that has been the classic or the original one that we know. Yeah, and in fact, GCE O Level is the one that if you go way back, that's what MCE, Malaysia Certificate of Education, which later became SBM. That's what all these were based on. Yeah, so that's like the granddaddy of the exams. Okay, and GCSE actually in the UK replaces the GCE O Level. Yeah, so they no longer use GCE O Level in the UK, but GCSE, and the international version is of course IGCSE. Alright, so I'll touch a bit on what this all means. Yeah, so IGCSE, O Level, SPM, that's where we say was the equivalent level. And in terms of the Malaysian educational system, okay, after your SPM or IGCSE or GCE O Level, you would progress on to what we call pre-university programs, yeah, which are there are plenty in the local education scene. Okay, you have foundation programs, you have like Canadian pre-U programs, you have Australian matriculation programs, things like that. Yeah, and of course the traditional one, yeah, is the GCE A Level, which is the GCE Advanced Level. Yeah, so many students still go for that GCE A Level, and another one that some students are going for is the International Baccalaureate or IB. Okay, so after your IGCSE, all these options are available. Yeah, whether you go for a pre-university program, A Level, IB, or you go for diploma programs, yeah, which would be which tends to be more vocationally inclined. Okay, now you can also enter into American university programs. Yeah, but I'll touch more on that later. Okay, because I will be talking about the pathways. Yeah, so this is just to give you a whole picture first. Yeah, so I won't go into so much detail until later. Okay, so then of course after your pre-U you can go to the degrees and so on. Yeah, okay, so now the IGCSE that we are talking about is the Cambridge IGCSE or the CAIE, Cambridge Assessment International Education, yeah, which was previously known as CIE. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, EdExcel is another exam board that runs IGCSE around the world. Okay, but not as widely as Cambridge. Yeah? So the one that we are running is Cambridge. Okay. Now the syllabus for IGCSE covers 2 school years. Yeah. Which is actually, that means it actually in the UK schools, it starts in their year 11, year 10, starts in their year 10 and finish at the end of year 11. Okay, so that means the preparatory work, the preparatory studies are what they have done up to their year 9. Okay, in the Malaysian context, it will be equivalent of Form 3. Okay. There are 2 exam sessions per year, in May, June, and October, November. Now, a little bit about this CAIE. It is part of the University of Cambridge. It's the international counterpart to OCR. And the curriculum that they have set up is adopted by many international schools around the world. Okay, not just Malaysia, but around the world. And they also run the GCE A Level. So earlier I said after IGCSE, some students may choose to go to GCE A Level. Most of them, if they go for A Level, would be sitting for the Cambridge GCE A Level. Of course, the other option is the Edexcel GCE A Level. Different exam board, but equivalent level. Okay, the main website that you will need for further information is this one, cambridgeinternational.org. Later on, if I have time, I will be going to that website and showing you around a bit, because it is a big website. Okay, next. Now, why did Eduseeds go with Cambridge IGCSE rather than Edexcel or any other systems? Because the Cambridge IGCSE, okay, when we evaluated this, it was sufficiently rigorous for general secondary school education. That means it's not too easy, not too hard. It's at about the right level, equivalent to SPM, and it opens doors for them to progress to college education via the pre-university or the diploma programs. So that is the main rationale. Now, we also needed something that is flexible and adaptable to the Eduseeds methodology. That means using the LMS, live stream classes and things like that. Rather than a school setting where you have classes period after period going at a fixed pace and so on. So we needed a curriculum that is adaptable to this to the Eduseeds methodology, which I'm sure you are quite well familiar with by now. And also we need to pick something that is available worldwide, because we are not just providing this in Malaysia. Okay, we are providing this worldwide now, and so we need an exam board that would be running their exams worldwide. Well, not exactly every country, but it's available in many countries around the world. Compared with other exam boards, that means the UK exam boards, actually there are only 3 which has operations outside of UK. So AQA, Edexcel, and Cambridge. Okay, AQA is very limited. Edexcel available quite widely, but not all countries. The most widely available worldwide is actually Cambridge. So these are some of the main reasons why we settled on Cambridge IGCSE. And of course, very important that it is also widely recognized around the world for academic progression after secondary school. Okay, because Cambridge has been around in this business for a very long time, and they are also part of the University of Cambridge, which is among the top universities in the world. Okay. The Cambridge IGCSE has been running since 1988. Okay. But it doesn't mean that Cambridge has only 30 plus years of experience, because before that, as I've noted, they were doing the GCE. So the GCE has been around since before I was born. So if you want to know how long that is, I don't know, because I wasn't even born. Alright, Now a bit about the IGCSE exam format. Okay, there is no maximum, no age limit, no compulsory subjects. Yeah, so it's very flexible in that sense. Okay, but of course, students and parents need to consider what they want to do after IGCSE. Yeah, because typically you don't want to finish your education with just IGCSE. Yeah, so if you are going to any of the pre-U studies that I mentioned earlier, it means that you need a minimum of 5 credits. Okay. Now, what's a credit? A credit means that you have a grade C or better in one subject. Okay. So same thing in same terminology. If you look at SPM, that means you have a credit score. Yeah. On in one subject. That's what's meant by credits. Yeah. So 5 credits means grade C or better in 5 subjects, 5 different subjects. Yeah. In your IGCSE, that is the entry requirement, minimum entry requirement, I should say. Yeah. Now, if it's for a diploma program, then it's 3 credits, and for a certificate study, is 1 credit. Yeah. In terms of subjects, basically all the college courses would want you to have English, okay, because the courses are going to be in English. Yeah? And the next most important one is mathematics. Okay, not necessarily because they want you to know the formula for circles and things like that, but because mathematics is a subject that trains people in reasoning, logical thinking, pattern recognition, and things like that. Yeah. So these are skills that they are looking for. Yeah. Not whether you know formulas and things like that. Yeah. So English and mathematics are the 2 that would be considered most important. So as I mentioned, credit is C and better. Okay, and the grades awarded in the IGCSE are A star for the highest grade, and then followed by A, B, C, D, and so on. Yeah. Okay. Some notes about exam centers, venues, and fees. Okay, in Malaysia, the exam centers, that means where you can take your IGCSE, are international schools or the British Council. Okay, international schools means it depends on the school whether they are willing to accept outside candidates. Yeah, so quite a number of international schools in Malaysia are currently willing to do that. And this also is mirrored in many other countries, because I know they have British Council also in places like Indonesia, China, yeah, Pakistan, and places like that. Yeah. So even in those countries, they can sit for the exams with international schools or the British Council. Now, there are several things that are handled by the exam center. That means the international school or the British Council. Yeah, that means you don't go to Cambridge CAIE for these things. Okay, because how to register for the exams and the deadlines, the availability of subjects at that center. Yeah, the fees and all that, yeah, are determined by the exam center. Yeah, that means when you go to the Cambridge website, for example, you will find that there are more than 70 subjects available. Okay, but not all will be offered at a particular center. Yeah, because some of the subjects have requirements which the center may not find feasible to run. Okay, an example being art. Okay, art and design, because for them to run the exam, the students need an art studio facility. Okay, so not many centers can run that exam actually. Yeah, so each center would choose the available subjects that that they can offer in an exam session. Okay, and of course they set the fees, they set the deadlines, and they also make the arrangements for the speaking components of languages. Okay, so all these things are actually determined by the exam centers. So when you are going for your exam, don't try contacting CAIE, because all these matters are handled by the exam centers. Yeah. Okay, another matter that you need to be aware of for IGCSE is this what is known as core or extended. Okay, because when you go and look at the subjects, many of the IGCSE subjects have options for core or extended. Okay, now what is meant by core means that it covers a reduced part of the syllabus. Okay, but the catch is that if you take the core papers, then the highest possible grade is only C. Okay, because they only test you on a subset of the syllabus, yeah, only a part of the syllabus that gauges your competency to a C equivalent level. Yeah, so that's why you can only get grade C. If you take the extended, that means you are taking the full syllabus. Okay, and then of course the highest possible grade would be A star. Yeah, if you do well in the full in the extended syllabus. Yeah. So how is this done? Okay, so I take mathematics as an example. Mathematics. Okay, the 0580 is the subject code. That means if you are looking at the Cambridge website, that is the syllabus code, yeah, which identifies this particular subject. Okay, because you will find there are different mathematics subjects there. Yeah. So if you are taking core, that means you'll be sitting for paper 1 and paper 3. Whereas if you take extended, it is paper 2 and paper 4. Yeah. So the questions in extended are of course harder, longer, because they cover the full syllabus. Yeah. So this is how it works. So that's about core and extended. Okay, another thing that people will ask is what are paper variants, because when they go to look for past year papers especially, they find that there's like paper 2-1, 2-2, 2-3 and so on. Yeah, so it gets quite confusing. Okay. Now how you read this? Paper 2-1, paper 2-2, 2-3, they are all paper 2. Okay, that means if you are looking at one particular subject, yeah, say for example mathematics, yeah, and you see these 3 different papers, 2-1, 2-2 and 2-3, all these are actually paper 2 for that exam session. Okay, but they are variant 1, 2 and 3. Okay, why this variant 1, 2 and 3 is because as I mentioned earlier, Cambridge runs these exams internationally. Yeah, so they have these different variants to cater for different time zones. Yeah, so what it means is that someone who is sitting for, let's say, maths paper 2 this morning cannot call up someone in New Zealand who is supposed to have taken the paper earlier, yeah, and ask his friend in New Zealand what questions came up, because it's going to be a different paper. Yeah, so that's how it's administered. So they all cover the same syllabus, of course. Yeah, that means for a particular subject like say maths, yeah, paper 2, it will cover the same things as any other maths paper 2 is supposed to cover, but it would have a different set of questions. Okay. Now, but if you are using the papers, yeah, typically people look for past year papers for practice, for review. You can use any of the variants, and in fact you can use all the variants, yeah, because that gives you more practice. Yeah, so don't worry about which particular variant you are going to sit for. Yeah, because I get questions from teachers said, oh, our local exam centers is offering paper 2 too, so they only want to practice on paper 2 too. Yeah, not true. Yeah, because you can use any variant. Yeah, so the variants are in effect only for that exam, only during the exam itself. Yeah, because they need to control the prevent leakage. Yeah, due to the different time zones. Okay, another thing that you would see if you go to the website is what is known as this 9-to-1 syllabus option. Yeah. Okay, earlier I said the grades are awarded as A star, A, B, and so on. Yeah. Now in the UK, they have introduced since 2017 or 2016. Yeah. For their GCSE, they no longer grade as A star, A, B, and so on. They are now grading as with a number score of 9-to-1, where 9 is the highest. Okay, that means 9 is equivalent of A star. Yeah. So the exam board, yeah, Cambridge, yeah, also introduced this option for the IGCSE. So how it works is like this, yeah. Instead of just A and A star, they are now in the number grades. That means there are now 3 possible grades, 7, 8, or 9. That means 7 and above is A, yeah. And instead of just grade B and C in credits, yeah, now you have 4, 5, and 6. Okay, that means in the 9-to-1 grading, credit is grade 4 or higher. Okay, whereas in the letter grading is C or better. Yeah. So that's how it works. Now, if you see the chart there, the anchor points. The anchor points means that the threshold or the borderline of score between B and A. Okay, between B and A is the same border or the same point going from grade 6 to grade 7. Okay, so that's what the anchor points mean. And the other anchor point is of course where between the pass and the credit. Yeah, that's when you go for grade D, from grade D to grade C. That same threshold is the same as going from grade 3 to grade 4. Okay, so that's what the anchor points mean. This just for your knowledge, in case students or parents ask you, because the Cambridge for Malaysia, yeah, last year they introduced this option whereby you can take the 9-to-1 grading instead of the A star A grading. But the response was quite poor, so this year they decided not to do it. They are only offering the letter grading, yeah, for the exams held in Malaysia. Yeah. So, but I can foresee that maybe a few years further down the line, they might reintroduce it. Yeah, they have the papers. They actually prepare the papers. Yeah, it's just that due to the logistics and administration of it, since there was very low demand, they decided to scrap it and just focus on the letter grading. Yeah. All right. So I won't cover so much. Yeah, because this is what I said. They rolled it out last year, but this year they took it back. Yeah, so I won't cover so much on that. Now, we need to understand a little bit about the IGCSE educational goals, because there is a lot of misconception, especially among tiger moms and tiger dads. Yeah, because all they want to do, all they care about is for their child to get an A star in get a string of A stars, yeah, in their IGCSE. Okay, to the point of forgetting why is it the child is studying for IGCSE. Okay, So this is taken directly from the Cambridge website. So it's not something that I am saying or Eduseeds is saying, but this is the people who design the curriculum, the people who design the exams are saying what the IGCSE is meant to do. Yeah, so it's meant to cover subject content. Yeah, which is of course your facts and figures and formulas and so on. But beyond that, it's also applying knowledge and understanding to new and unfamiliar situations. That means you take the facts and figures and formulas and be able to apply in different situations. Yeah, not necessarily repeating something that you have covered in your textbook. Okay, and beyond that, they want to develop what we call intellectual inquiry. That means students who can ask intelligent questions: who, where, what, how, why, and so on. Yeah, instead of just being spoon-fed, memorizing facts and regurgitating them. Yeah, they want students who have flexibility and responsiveness to change. Yeah, very important in our digital era now. Yeah, where you may have heard of things like industries being disrupted, jobs being lost, and new jobs being created. Yeah, so students need to have that flexibility and responsiveness. Yeah, so it means if they are just studying one subject, it doesn't mean they are just focusing on that subject, but actually can see, for example, again, mathematics in the sciences, and even in languages, yeah, or in business, things like that. Yeah, so because all these are actually interrelated. And of course, working and communication in English, because the medium of instruction is English. They also want students who have competency in influencing outcomes. Yeah, what we mean by that? That means instead of reacting or disagreeing with people in a violent manner, like what's happening in the US with all the different protests, being able to discuss things based on facts, figures, and evidence. Yeah, being able to debate, even argue, if necessary. And agreeing to disagree if necessary. Yeah, but being able to use the intellectual, the reason, the facts, figures, evidence, and debate about issues. Yeah, rather than resorting to violence and stance that would lead nowhere. Yeah, so. This is very important also in the world that we live in now. And of course, partly related to that is cultural awareness. Yeah, realizing that we are in a global world. Yeah, with different cultures and so on. Yeah. Now, if you look at this, of course. Why I'm spending time covering this? Because as I said earlier, you get parents and also to some extent students who say that they just want to go through the material and make sure that they can get A star. Okay, but if you pull back and look at this, that is not enough actually, because the IGCSE is not designed to give students A stars. Okay? That's not the goal. Yeah, the goal is actually educating the student in these areas. Now, of course, if you are looking at this from a Christian perspective, you could say that there's actually more, because there's also the character and the spiritual aspect. Yeah, but this is from Cambridge. Yeah, so they are looking at it from a non-spiritual perspective. Yeah, but at least we need this. We do need this because we live in a challenging and changing world. Yeah, so of course, if you say that we need the character, the spiritual aspect, that is also true, but that will be in addition to this. Yeah, okay. But if you look at this, if we say that because the IGCSE is exam based, right? Actually, the exams cannot test students on a lot of these things. Yeah, because if you go to an exam, you can, of course, it can test you on subject content. It can test you on applying knowledge to unfamiliar situation, a little bit in terms of responsiveness, and of course communicating in English, because yeah, the paper will be in English. But the rest, it can't do much. Yeah, that means it can't test you much in terms of like influencing outcome. It can barely scratch the surface, you know, when it comes to intellectual inquiry. Okay, so actually, where do you learn these things? You should learn these things as a student. You should be learning these things as you are studying through an IGCSE program. That means when you are studying this, you are being exposed to different situations. You are, you know, the teacher may set up like debates, may set up presentations, may get you to work on a report. Okay. So these things would not be directly tested in an exam, okay? Because the IGCSE, yeah, is exam based, and it can't test you on those things. That means to say, if students and parents just want to score an A star in a subject, yes, you can do that, but you miss out on the educational goals. Yeah. What it means is that you can get students with a string of A stars, and this has happened before, yeah, because they go to IGCSE tutorial centers, yeah, which all they do from day one is focus on memorizing facts and figures and then practicing past year papers. Okay, so they do end up with A's and A stars, very good, but when they go to a pre-U program, this is actually real life, yeah. I feedback from lecturers from those pre-U programs say that, you know, I'm wondering what's happening nowadays, because I get these students with A's and A stars, but they don't know what they're doing. They don't understand basic concepts in the subject, yeah, which is a pity, because actually students who have gone through that process of just being of drilling for the sake of the exam are missing out on all these other things, yeah, especially things like the intellectual inquiry, things like applying knowledge and understanding to unfamiliar situations, yeah. And of course, if they are in college, they meet people from different countries. They don't know how to deal with them, yeah, when they disagree, yeah. So it's sad to see students go through and are not prepared actually for the next stage of education. Okay, so if you get parents who are that way inclined, yeah, so these are some of the points that you can share with them. Okay, I've because this was just the slides, yeah. Now, that leads us to the Eduseeds IGCSE. Now, first off, you need to understand that in the Eduseeds program is a 10-year program. Okay, unlike in UK, yeah, where it's 11-year program. Yeah, so in the UK schools and most international schools, they finish their preparation at grade 9 or year 9, and then they start the IGCSE in their year 10 or grade 10, okay, and then they take the IGCSE exams at the end of year 11 or grade 11. In the Eduseeds program, the preparatory studies are finished at grade 8, okay, and then they will start the IGCSE in grade 9, and at the end of grade 10, they will take the IGCSE exams. Yeah, so that is the main difference, yeah. So meaning that sometimes you get inquiries, yeah, from parents whose child is currently in a different in one of the international school, and then the child is already doing grade 10 in the international school, and then they want to come into this system and they say, how come you are putting my child into grade 9? Yeah, because actually our grade 9 is equal to grade 10. Yeah, so so that gives you the context. Okay, what subjects in the Eduseeds offering? We have English 1, 1, 2, 3, and there's English as a second language, maths. I put the syllabus code there because, as I said, there are actually different subjects. There are different English subjects, different maths subjects. If you go to the website, yeah. So the syllabus code allows you to identify specifically which syllabus. There's also AdMaths. Okay. Now, if a student takes AdMaths, it doesn't mean that they don't take maths. Okay, you take both. Yeah, because that's why it's called additional maths. Yeah, not a replacement maths. Yeah. And then of course you have your sciences, biology, chemistry, physics. Yeah, and then business studies and accounting. Okay, so these are the current offerings. Now, how do we deliver the IGCSE? Okay, of course, it comprises of modules. Yeah, so modules starting from 901 for grade 9, and then going all the way to grade 10. Yeah, so the modules have the online component on the learning management system, and then the activity books, and of course the test as well. On top of that, you can also sign up to join the live stream classes, which are available for the different subjects. Yeah. And on top of that, if you're joining the live stream classes, yeah, there's also the midterm and trial exams that are available. Okay. So there's just a snapshot of what the live stream class. Yeah, live stream is in other words, is a web broadcast. Yeah, is the teacher is running the class and it's broadcast over the web at the same time. Yeah, and then there's chat box available for students to ask questions and so on. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you are taking the live stream classes, our intakes are in January. Yeah, so like this year, January was the intake, and that is known as batch 120. Yeah, that means January in the year 2020, and the next intake will be batch 121. Yeah, January year 2021. Okay. As I said, the syllabus is for 2 years. Yeah, so that means when they start in January 2020, they will be taking their exams in October, November 2021. Yeah, so 2 school years. Yeah. So those who start in January 2021 will take towards the end of 2022. Okay. Now, if you are interested to sign up students, yeah, for the live stream, then you need to contact the IGCSE coordinator, who is not me. Okay. She is Pastor Denise. Yeah, she is running the IGCSE. Actually, she's the principal of Oakbridge, and all this, yeah, the live stream is actually riding on Oakbridge classes. Yeah, so you need to register your students, yeah, for the live stream through Pastor Denise. Yeah. Okay, another matter is ICE. Yeah, because you get parents inquiring about this, because some international schools have this option. Okay, ICE is the International Certificate of Education. Okay, what's the difference between this and IGCSE? Okay, the ICE is known as a group award. Okay, whereas IGCSE is a subject award, meaning that that's why in IGCSE, yeah, I said earlier, there's no minimum subjects, no no compulsory subjects and so on, because it's awarded based on the subjects you take. Okay. Whereas the ICE is a group award, meaning that you have to fulfill certain criteria. Okay, the criteria being that you have to have subjects from these categories. Yeah, so you must have subjects from languages, humanities, sciences, maths, and creative professional category. Okay, you must have 2 languages actually. Yeah, 2 languages. So you see there are 5 categories, but you need 7 subjects altogether. 2 languages, and then at least 1 from each of the others, and then your 7th one can be any category. Okay, so if you fulfill those criteria, you can also apply to have the ICE. Okay, International Certificate of Education. Is it necessary? No, not really. Okay, but may be useful if you are trying to go to places like US, yeah, because they look at that as equivalent to their high school diploma. Okay, but it's not really necessary. Yeah, so it's just to give you an idea what ICE is all about. Yeah, I mentioned that. Yeah, you must do 2 languages and at least 1 from each of the others, and total at least 7. Okay. So otherwise, you cannot meet the criteria to ask to be awarded an ICE. Yeah, but you will still get your IGCSE based on the different subjects. That means if a student takes only 6 subjects, you still get your IGCSE listing the 6 subjects. Yeah, that's all there is. Yeah. And that's good enough for most situations. Yeah, locally they don't need the ICE. Yeah, they just need to look at your IGCSE that you have at least 5 credits. Yeah. Okay, I want to cover a bit more on some of these subjects. Yeah, English. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, we are offering English 1, 1, 2, 3, which is actually under the GCE O Level. Yeah. Whereas in IGCSE itself, there is English first language and English second language. Yeah. We also offer the second language, but not the first language. Yeah. Okay, why is this? Is because the competency for first language is much higher compared with English 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so for Malaysian students, yeah, it is not as easily attainable, yeah, to get a good grade like A or A star. Okay, it's not to say it's impossible, yeah, but what I'm saying is that fewer students have the competency to be able to achieve that. Whereas the English 1, 1, 2, 3, the GCE English, is very similar to the SPM 1119 or the latest equivalent. I'm not sure if they changed the code now. So the competency to be able to get an A or A star there is more widely applicable, yeah, for Malaysian students. Yeah. And for those who are still struggling with that, then they can go to English second language, which is the subject code 0510 or 0511. Okay. Now, you cannot take the different English subjects. Yeah, that means you cannot take like second language and then 1, 1, 2, 3, and then go to the college and say that you got 2 credits. Okay, because it's considered one subject. Yeah, because it's covering the same competency area. So whichever English you take, yeah, it's 1 credit. Yeah, you cannot take 2 different ones and say you got 2 credits. Okay, on Malay or Bahasa Malaysia. Okay, currently Cambridge offers Malay foreign language, which is 0546. They have just introduced Malay first language 0696. Yeah, first introduced means that they available for teaching from this year, and the exams will be from next year. That means the first year of exam is next year. Okay, Malay first language. Yeah. This is of course for those with higher competency in Malay. Yeah. Now the Malay language is available in the May-June session only. Okay. Now you get a lot of questions about whether students need to do the college Malay classes, yeah, when they go for their pre-U and so on, yeah. When you do the Malay in IGCSE, it is accepted as one of the credits, yeah. Of course, provided you get C or better, yeah. So it's accepted as one of the credit for the to fulfill your admission requirement. Okay, it does not exempt you from the college Malay class, because that one is stipulated by MQA, Malaysian Qualification Agency, which at the moment is still rather rigid, because they only exempt students with SPM Malay credit. Yeah, that's all they exempt. So that means whether you come from IGCSE or any others, you are still required to sit through the college Malay class. Yeah. So of course then students say, why take Malay then, in IGCSE? Well, if you're going to take Malay in college class, you better be sure that you keep in touch with your Malay. Yeah. So that's one reason to do Malay. Yeah. The other thing is, of course, yeah, it's still a credit on your IGCSE. Yeah, which and later on, if you applying for jobs and things like that, it's useful to have an additional language, yeah, especially working in Malaysia, yeah. So you have a lot of reason to take a Malay paper, and not just because of college, yeah. So that just to clear up any misconception. Yeah, so I mentioned that, yeah, it's not as an exemption, but still useful. Okay, Chinese. Okay, there are three offerings, three subjects, yeah, which is first language, second language, and foreign language. Okay. Now, in the Cambridge framework, yeah, a foreign language means that you just started learning that language when you started IGCSE. So that means Mandarin or foreign language means that by the time you take your paper, you have been studying it for about 2 years, 2 school years, yeah. So that's the competency level that's expected. Second language is a bit more, yeah. You would have studied it for maybe 4 years or more, yeah, 4 or 5 years, yeah. So that's the second language competency. First language means that you have been studying that language from the first year of school, yeah. So you're looking at 10, 11, 12 years of studying that language, yeah. So that's the different levels, yeah. In terms of the Malaysian context, yeah, students who come in from Chinese primary school, okay, they generally won't have a problem taking like Mandarin, okay, the foreign language, because they actually done about 6 years, yeah, of Chinese, yeah. But of course they need to be familiarized with the exam requirement, yeah. So they can even handle the second language, yeah, if they keep in touch with the language, and of course again familiar with the language requirements. There are also students who actually go for the first language, yeah, because if they have been, if they have gone through the Chinese primary school, their Chinese is good, and they also been keeping in touch with the Chinese since leaving primary 6. They can actually go for first language as well, yeah. But the choice is up to them, yeah. So many students take the easy way out; they just go for the Mandarin, yeah. Okay, again, it's only available in the May-June session. Okay. Okay, I'll skip this one maybe. Okay, now actually it's going to the 2.3. Do you want a break or I continue on with this first?
We're having a break, yeah, 5 minutes, no? Or you want to continue?
I can continue.
How about we continue, yeah? Okay.
Okay. All right, so, okay, we had this chart earlier, yeah? So, this is, because you realize, yeah, the IGCSE is not the end point. It's only the end point for, in terms of the Eduseeds program, yeah? Or the end point when you go to international school, you, you finish with IGCSE. So, what happens after that, yeah? So, if you are aiming to go for a degree, yeah, which is what is considered the academic route, yeah, then you need to go for a pre-U program. A pre-U program includes A levels, IB, foundation year, and international pre-university programs like Canadian pre-U or Australian matriculation, and so on. Yeah. So there are many of these programs available in the colleges in Malaysia, okay, private colleges. So after your pre-U, that means after your A levels or after your foundation year or equivalent, then you can enter a university program, yeah, whether in Malaysia or whether in UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, and so on. Yeah. Now, you see the option there for American University program, which after your IGCSE, yeah. So that is available as well. That means instead of enrolling to a pre-university program, you can directly enter an American University program in one of the colleges that if they have the program, yeah. So does it mean that this is better? Okay, actually it's the same thing, yeah, because what happens is the American degree structure, if you take like say a basic degree like a Bachelor of Science, yeah, under the American university program structure, a Bachelor of Science takes 4 years. Okay, whereas in the UK structure, the Bachelor of Science takes 3 years. Yeah, so if you're following the UK route, you do 1 year of pre-U, yeah, or 18 months A level, then you start your first year, but you finish in 3 years. If you take the American route, you start straight away after your IGCSE, but you take 4 years. Okay, so that's why the American first year is roughly considered to be equivalent to the pre-U. Okay, so that's the picture, yeah. Okay, now if you go for the diploma program, okay, because as I mentioned earlier, yeah, the diploma program requires 3 credits instead of 5 credits. Yeah, so for those who are not so academically inclined, this is one option. Yeah, they can go for a diploma program. Now that does not shut you off from going further. Yeah, because some students take time to discover their strengths and their interests. Yeah, so going for a diploma program first, and then they find that they want to go further in that area, they can actually transfer to a university to a degree program. Yeah, the options of course depends on the specific program. Okay, but generally, if you finish a diploma, like a 2-year or more diploma, yeah, typically you can actually do an advanced entry. That means you enter into a 2nd-year university program instead of starting all over again from 1st year. So that is the pathways. Okay, I'll go into a bit. Okay, of course, after your degree, you can go for your postgrad or your employment. Yeah. Okay. Now, if it's in Malaysia, okay, so you after your IGCSE, you have pre-U studies, A levels, IB, and so on, and then after that, there's a wide range of private colleges and universities. Yeah, basically, if you're talking about the government universities, public universities, generally not open to you, yeah, because number one, of course, you know the situation, yeah. The public universities need to cater for other students, and number two is, of course, many of the programs are not in English, yeah. So those are the limitations, yeah. But places like Utah, yeah, are available, okay. So you can look around, yeah. Then of course many private colleges and university. For those who are interested in having an overseas degree, yeah, there are also many twinning programs, yeah, which is kind of like stepping stones, yeah. Then I've mentioned also, yeah, for those who are not so academically inclined, there are diploma pathways, yeah. Okay, if you're going for UK, Ireland, yeah, again, after your IGCSE, you need to do a pre-U, which is your A levels, IB, or foundation year. Now, doesn't mean that you have to go to UK to do this, yeah. You can actually do this in Malaysia, and then go to your UK university, yeah. So that would save you some funds, yeah. Now, in the UK itself, there's also different pathways, the BTEC or the diploma pathways. Okay. Okay, this List Academy and Qualify, these are some of the partners that we have, where it is online or remote learning, where you can start going for your diploma and then degree studies, yeah, going along these pathways. If you want more detail on that, you can speak with our Daniel Gunn, yeah, because he oversees this. There's also Open University UK, which has been around a long time. They do remote and online courses, yeah, so leading to degrees. Yeah? So these are just some options. Australia, yeah, the normal entry to their university is after their grade 12, yeah, and IGCSE is roughly equivalent to their grade 11, yeah, or year 11, yeah. So again, if you are going to a university in Australia, you can do one of the pre-U program, okay. Of course, you can do Australian matriculation programs, yeah. But it doesn't have to be Australian matriculation. Yeah, you can also do A levels or IB or foundation year. Yeah? Now, there's also Open Universities Australia, which runs online programs leading to degrees and diploma. Yeah, so that's one option to explore. Yeah, if you can't physically go to Australia. Canada, yeah, similar to Australia, they enter university after grade 12, okay, and again IGCSE is roughly equivalent to their grade 11, but one difference is that some universities in Canada do accept, do allow you to enter their program, yeah, if you have IGCSE with very good results, yeah. So that's one opening. So other than that, of course, you still do your pre-U, your A levels, IB, or Canadian matriculation program to fulfill your equivalent of the year 12 or grade 12, yeah, before starting university. US, yeah. So again, the normal entry to their universities is after their high school diploma, which is grade 12. But many universities there also accept the IGCSE as equivalent to a high school diploma for admissions. Yeah, but of course there may be additional requirements like TOEFL, SAT, ACT, and so on. Yeah. So the other way, of course, you can do your pre-U, your A level, IB, and then go on to the universities in US. Yeah. So this is just a very quick picture of the pathways that you have. Okay. Yeah. So this is the end of my presentation. Yeah. So do you have any questions?
Yeah. Do you have any questions for Mr. Su? Yeah, you can unmute yourself and ask the question, or you can post it in the chat. Yeah. Any question? No?
Yes.
Yeah.
On the IGCSE exam format, you mentioned there are no maximum subjects, no age limit, and no compulsory subjects. So I want to know, are the students legally able to take, like, for example, one subject a year for 4 years? Are they allowed to do this kind of thing?
Okay. Cambridge allows you to do that. Okay. But as I highlighted, yeah, consider what the colleges want. Okay. Because the colleges are going to be apprehensive or suspicious, yeah, if you do that. Okay. Because typically they like to see your exams in 1 or 2 sessions. That means, yeah, that you qualify for all the 5 credits within 2 exam sessions. The 2 exam sessions should be within a year. Yeah. So that's generally what they look for. Yeah. But as far as Cambridge is concerned, yes, you can do that if you want to, but then it may not be useful to you when you want to go to college. Yeah.
Very clear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. We have a question from Fathi and Victor about the student can either take the core or extended for some of the subjects. Who will decide? Is the student, the parent, or the teacher? Are there assessments given to the student to test their learning from time to time?
Okay, the Eduseeds program cover the extended, the full syllabus. Okay. I have to highlight to you that there's core and extended because you will get questions because there is an option in the IGCSE. Okay. But in our context, do we recommend it? Generally, no. Okay. I mean, the core, yeah. Generally, we recommend students to take the extended because they are tested to the full syllabus, and our syllabus, our teaching are all geared towards that. Okay. But the background, yeah, the background is that because all these are spring up from the UK system, yeah. So in the UK secondary education, they were very liberal, yeah, still are, in the sense that they want to give many options to students and don't want to stress them out. So say, for example, maths. Okay, a lot of students say they don't like maths. You know, it's difficult and so on and so forth. Yeah, but as a general secondary education program, they still need to do some maths. Yeah. So some students in the UK, for example, opt to go for core maths, meaning that they only study fewer topics, easier topics, so they are not as stressed out. Yeah, they don't mind ending up with a C. Yeah, we go for the exam because they are not going to go for an engineering or science course. Yeah, so that's the background. Yeah, why the core paper is offered. Yeah, in our context, do you want to do that? Yeah, unless of course a student is in a similar situation where he or she has absolutely no plans to do something which requires a lot of maths and they are really struggling with maths, but they still want to take maths. then yes, that is an option. Yeah, but generally, we recommend students go for core. I mean for extended. Yeah, because one thing is even if you, if I mean now if you ask working adults for that, do you remember the formula to find area of a circle? Of course we see, most of us would say no. Yeah, because we never need to do that anymore. Yeah, but that's not the point. Yeah, the point is actually the mathematics have given you the background to look at patterns, to recognize relationships, between different pieces of information, and to analyze, to have a problem-solving process. Yeah, so those are actually the key skills. So okay, so back to core extended. Yeah, so that's the background. Yeah, whether students want to go for that. Who decides? It depends on who makes the decision for their exams. Yeah, typically their parents. Okay, so of course a few parents let their child decide. Yeah, teachers, I think you should confine yourself to advisory role. Okay, because if you say that they should take core, then be prepared that later the parents come to you and say, why you ask my child to take core now? He or she cannot do this. Yeah, cannot do this course because they only did core. Yeah, so don't decide for the child. Yeah, but you can advise. Yeah, to consider that. Yeah, but it should be the parents or the child. Okay.
Okay, we have two more questions, just only for two more questions. Yeah, if any more question, please write in the chat, then we'll get back to you. Yeah, we have from Christina Tan. Yeah, the question is, do Eduseeds Mandarin subject for grade 1 to 6 prepare the student to sit for which IGCSE Mandarin paper?
Okay, Eduseeds Mandarin is written to HSK, which is the 汉语水平考, yeah, which is something like the Chinese version of TOEFL of IELTS, yeah. So it's a different syllabus, yeah, if you ask me, yeah. But if you have done the Mandarin, yeah, you would have the language background, you would have the language competency to be able to handle things like the foreign language or even second language level, yeah, if you are doing well in that, yeah. But it doesn't mean that you just finish your Mandarin studies and then you don't touch it for maybe like 3-4 years, and then you decide to take the paper at IGCSE. It shouldn't be that way, yeah, because in order to do well for the exam, you still need to be familiarized with the requirements of the exam, yeah. The language competency, that means, the words, the grammar, all that, you have from the prior learning. But the exam format, the exam requirements, yeah, like, writing essay of certain number of words and things like that, yeah, what the examiners look for. So of course you should still be familiarized with that, either through a class or tuition or whatever, yeah. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, another question. Yeah, do Eduseeds Bahasa for grade 1 to 6 prepare the student for IGCSE Bahasa as a foreign language?
Okay, similar to the Mandarin, yeah, your language competency would be there, yeah, but you need to be familiarized with the exam requirements. Okay.
Okay. All right. We just this will be the last question. Yeah. If you have any other questions, yeah, please write it in the chat, and we will try to answer it later. Yeah. Now we're going to go for a break for 10 minutes. before we go to the next session, the section 3 of the school key dynamics feature. Yeah. Do you have any more questions? Yeah, we still have a little bit more time. Oh, do we have any question? Okay, all right. So now we go for the break. We'll be back in 10 minutes.